Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Kimberly. We are in Mark chapter 10 verses 46 through 52, and it's the story of blind Bartimaeus and when Jesus healed him. And I had some friends challenge me with this verse and really look at it in a new way that was really good but really challenging. And so lucky you, I'm going to pass that challenge on to you guys. It's challenging, but it's an invitation. And so anyway, the story is that Jesus and the disciples were on their way to Jericho. And as they were going down the road, there was a blind man sitting by the roadside begging, and his name was Bartimaeus. And when he heard that it was Jesus that was passing by, he said, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." Many rebuked him and told him to be quiet, but then he shouted all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." So Jesus stopped and said, "Call him." So they called to the blind man, "Cheer up. Get on your feet, he's calling you." Throwing his cloak aside, he jumped up on his feet and he came to Jesus. And Jesus asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" Now, here's what's interesting. I'm going to stop right there. By the way, you're watching me color with the Neocolor crayons. The blue and the yellow one came in last month's Purpose-Driven Essentials kit, and the pink one came in this one, and they match perfectly. These three colors, you can make all of the colors from the ephemera from the Purpose-Driven Essentials kit this month, if I could talk, which is the All Nations, All People from Illustrated Faith. So anyway, super fun. So what I'm trying to do, there's this big flower ephemera, and I'm just trying to kind of doodle it all over the page. I'm not sure if it ended up looking that great, but it was fun giving it a try, and I always love playing with Neocolors, so I'll call that a success. But anyway, so Jesus asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" Which sounds like a nice question, but shouldn't it be obvious? This man is blind. Like, why would Jesus ask that? And what I was challenged to think was sometimes the things that seem obvious to other people might be really scary and risky for us to ask of Jesus. So a little piece of my story in a nutshell is that for the first, until about this year, honestly, God started working on me about 2 years ago. So until about the last 2 years, I wouldn't even talk to God about healing me. I felt like I had already lost too many things, and I couldn't risk hearing no from God. I lost my job to my illness. I lost some friends. I lost independence. I lost identity. I lost so many things, and I was just like, I can't hear another no from God. Like, I'm taking all these punches, but I can't take another one. And so I just kept saying, no, we're not going to talk about this, God. Jesus, we're just going to put that one on the back burner. And I knew someday he'd ask me to deal with that. But he's also kind, and he respects our boundaries, even if they aren't what's best for us. And he didn't push me, but he invited me quite strongly this year. I just got a very strong impression that I needed to start asking to be healed. Now, this is started out as a very terrifying question. I've never witnessed like miracle healings. I didn't grow up in a church where I don't even think they really believed them. My dad's a doctor, so everything was kind of measured by science in our house, especially when it came to health and people's chances and all that. But I did have a cousin who got cancer when she was a teenager, and I was a teenager too, and I prayed and prayed and prayed, and she was healed, and it was miraculous. I found out later. My parents protected me from knowing how bad her cancer was. I knew it was scary because everybody was scared, but I didn't know how bad it was. And she was healed. And it was in those conversations with Jesus that I really felt like he was listening to me and my faith became not just a faith, but it became tangible. So I had that experience tucked under my belt where God just healed my cousin from cancer. And she's a year older than me. She's got 2 kids. She's happily married. She's an artist, just living a really great life. And God was like nudging me, please ask me to heal you. Now, he didn't say, please ask me to heal you and I will. I didn't hear that. I just heard, please ask. And so when I hear something pretty clear from God, I don't fudge it. I kind of press into it because I really believe that God is a good God and he's been good to me. So if he's asking me for something, he's not going to make me miserable. Now, it might be challenging. I might have to get over some fears. I might have to face some disappointments. I might have to learn patience. I don't know. There are things to learn along the way, but the purpose isn't a mean-spirited one or I'm going to just test your faith, Kimberly. I don't believe he does that for me. My faith gets tested because I'm human, but I don't believe he sets me up just to test my faith. That just seems kind of like mean. I think our faith does get tested in life, though, because of the fall, because of human circumstances, because we live in a fallen world. So I know I'm facing all that, but he's given me this new confidence this year to ask for healing, which is really quite new to me. So my friends were, I was talking to them about some things that I was praying about and some things I was worrying about. And they posed this question to me flat out. They said, what do you want Jesus to do for you? And that's where I had to come face to face. Okay, do I want him to fix these little things that I keep praying for? Or am I going to ask for the big thing? This is an audacious question that Jesus presents to us. What do you want me to do for you? It's open-ended. There's not a wrong answer, but I think the most fruitful answer is going to be one that pushes us outside of our comfort zone, one that takes a measure of faith, one that we need to lean into with trust. Because what I've seen is I've seen my faith grow by leaps and bounds, and my confidence in God and Jesus has grown by leaps and bounds. Just saying yes to that question. Yes, Jesus, I want you to heal me. And I don't have any tangible test results or anything like that that I'm being healed. But my faith is so strong all of a sudden in an area where it was pretty much non-existent. And that alone is amazing. Just to have that confidence that God is taking care of me, that he sees what's gone on in my body, that he wants things to be different, that this wasn't his design for me, that he's seen the pain that I've gone through. And you guys, this is the same invitation for you. It's right here on the page. Jesus is asking you, what do you want me to do for you? You get to ask anything. You can ask him anything. There's not a wrong answer. So I would just encourage you to kind of sit with this question in a new way. And maybe you don't even know what to ask. And that's okay too, because you can ask Jesus, what is it that's so deep in my heart I'm not even sure? Or what is it that I'm so afraid of I don't dare ask? Or what is it that I feel like you've let me down on before, so I don't want to ask again because I can't have you let me down. These are the tough questions, but in my world, that's where faith is built. I know some people don't like to talk about the hard questions like that, like feeling let down by God and everything is just hunky-dory and everything's okay. But in my world, I have to ask God the hard questions. I have to be able to go to him and trust him. I have to be able to push back and say, I don't understand this. And know that he's going to love me, even if I ask the hard questions. He's going to love me even if I doubt. I mean, look at doubting Thomas. He loved doubting Thomas. His love didn't change. His love didn't change for Peter either. And frankly, his love didn't change for Judas. He kept Judas around when he knew he was stealing the whole time, and he knew he would steal in the end and betray him. So you guys, we can't go wrong in the arms of Jesus. We just can't. So I'm highlighting this question here. What do you want me to do for you? Jesus asked him, because that's the question that's posed to us. And sometimes the answer isn't quite as obvious as we think it might be. I know people had to be confused over the years when I'd say, no, please don't pray for my healing. I actually asked people not to. People would ask me, can I pray for you to be healed? And I would say, you can pray for God's will. And that was okay. That's where I needed to be. And maybe that's where you are. And that's okay too. We're just all in this journey, and we're here to encourage each other and kind of spur each other on. So this isn't a message of condemnation, and it's not a message of you better get this question right. I just want to present the invitation to you that was presented to me. Think about this, Kimberly. What do you want Jesus to do for you? What do you really want? And even if it's super scary to ask, even if you barely have the faith of a mustard seed, even if you can't fathom how things would turn out if your prayer was answered, or you don't know what you'd do if your prayer wasn't answered, even if, I think Jesus is giving us an invitation to stretch ourselves here and face down all those even ifs and those scary things, and just put our stories in the arms of Jesus. So this was a really obviously powerful verse for me, so I wanted to document it. I was also able to give this talk at church last weekend, and that was a real privilege. And I find that the more I share this message, the more my faith grows too, because at first I'd be kind of like, yeah, I think God's asking me this and that, and I'd be kind of hesitant. And then the next time it's like, you know what? No, I heard God asking me this, and I am going to say yes to that call. And then in church, standing up before everyone and saying, I have asked God to heal me. That felt very, very raw and vulnerable and bold, because now they know I've asked for it. But here's the deal. I used to think that like people would get let down if my prayers weren't answered, so I would keep them quiet. But God is God, and we don't have to defend him. He's a big guy. He can defend his own track record. So if he calls you to something and you share about it, the results aren't up to you. The results are up to him. So thanks for hanging out with me again today. I know this one was maybe a little bit challenging, but I hope it was challenging in a good way. I just treasure you guys, and I will see you again soon. Bye.